Yeah. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about tracking. Thanks to Sue. She had a great little article that she sent me to we can talk about because kind of over the last few weeks we talked about thinking about things in a different way. Like last week we were talking about thinking about your plan in a finite amount of terms, right? Just the
That
3-week
helps
program.
so much,
Oh, good.
Deanna.
I can't wait. Yeah. Well,
I'm going to tell you
let's
all
get
about
an
it later.
update from you, Kathy. How are you feeling about? So Kathy is super focused on just this 21 days, just
That
focusing in meal planning and
that
not
helped
thinking about
so
6
much.
months from now.
Right. I just thought of I'm going to do the 21 day and do the meal plan. And I said, okay, and I'm going to meal prep. So Sunday morning I went out shopping and I got all kinds of food and I just cooked all day. And it's so easy now. It's all in there. And I pick the breakfast and then I have things for lunch and dinner. I just flip flop them, whatever I feel like. And it looks like a little, but it's enough. And
Yep,
I'm
it is.
eating like
Yeah.
four times during the day. And I don't crave anything. The scale is going down.
Yay.
And I am so happy.
Oh, good.
I
I'm so
just feel
glad.
satisfied.
Yeah. I love it.
I really do.
So
It's
this
great.
tracking idea is kind of it's similar to that, right? Like maybe the thought of tracking absolutely everything when you're first starting out just sounds awful and hard and unattainable. So this article that Sue had sent me, it's about tracking different things. And maybe this is kind of like your starter tracking. But I also want you to think about it in the same terms, right? Like when I go into a program and I go into the tracking, I don't think about that I have to track like this for the rest of my life. I don't have to track like this even 6 months from now, right? I just focus on whatever this is I'm doing for this amount of time so that I don't feel overwhelmed with a life change, right? Because sometimes it can feel like I can't live like this forever in some of the things you're doing. So and then when you get to the end, when Kathy gets to the end of this 3 weeks, she's going to have a different mindset about how it all went and what the future looks like. And it's hard to see that in the beginning.
Yeah.
So if tracking is one of those things that really stops you and you just want to avoid it, because I have been there a lot of times, tracking is not my favorite. But I've gotten over it, right? Like I know that leads me to the place I want to be. If you're not tracking, you don't know. And to be truthful, you're not being honest with yourself. You know what I mean? Because you can have that extra thing and you have no accountability to yourself. You're just kind of like, oh, I had that extra thing, right? So I'm going to screen share this and I want to talk about these beginning tracking ideas. And then we can go into more specific, with our programs or maybe different things that anybody's dealing with. So let me screen share. Hey, Kim.
I can.
Yeah.
So this had a few ideas about tracking fiber intake, which I'm okay with, but I'd rather that said track your protein intake because I think that's where people miss out a lot and it's a little easier to track. Keeping tabs on your hunger and fullness. I think this is a great one to kind of realize that maybe the times you've had a meal and you're satisfied or you're full, or maybe keeping track of like say if the afternoon, if you're always hungry in the afternoon or you're always hungry before bedtime, things like that, because then you can kind of cue in on what's happening. And maybe you just rearrange a container or you rearrange a snack to kind of help that out. Counting your colors, I love. I would put this as a counting your plants too, because we've done this before in our groups where we've tried to get 30 plants in a week, 30 different plants in a week, right? You can't count anything twice. And that's, you got to put some effort into 30 plants. That's not something that you could take lightly. And colors are the same way. They're different colors and provide different nutrients because of that. And so just making sure you're really switching up those veggies and fruits and taking advantage of the nutrients. So noting your meal frequency. Are there times that you're skipping, adding? Same when we were talking about the hunger and fullness type information. This is all, that all is kind of based, like that would be really great, especially if you're doing 2B mindset, because you really are in a more intuitive eating state. Like, am I really hungry right now? Because on 2B mindset, you are going off of how you feel to decide how much you're eating. If you're doing 3 meals, if you're adding in that afternoon snack or a snack somewhere, and really watching that. Measuring your water intake. So that's something we like to do, you know, every once in a while in our groups, have a quick challenge to just kind of remind ourselves that maybe our water intake isn't as great as we thought. And it's, you know, half your body weight in ounces is the standard. That's your minimum. And then from there, you need to kind of see where you're at. And we can talk about water on another call just to kind of get more specific about it. But I will say, I now use that Mineralize occasionally. If I can, like, if I'm drinking a lot of water in a day and I'm still feeling like I'm thirsty, that's my cue that I need some Mineralize in there. You need some electrolytes. So as soon as I do that, it goes away. If I start to have like a headache at night, I also do Mineralize. That kind of helps everything balance out. And if
And
you don't, sorry.
Your trick about the pink salt has worked for me the past couple days.
Oh, good. Yeah. So
I
I was just going to say that the Himalayan pink salt and a little bit of lemon.
Yep. Like I'll drink my 64 ounces because I drink a gallon a day.
Yeah.
And once I start that second half, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to take forever. So I add in a little bit of the pink salt and it helps a lot.
Perfect. Yeah, it's just an easy way to just get a little bit in your water. And there's some discussion about how when you're drinking so much water that it essentially strips you of some of those nutrients that you haven't quite yet absorbed, and it doesn't allow you to get all that. But if you're having, that's, you know, I think part of the reset why you have them Mineralized, so that you aren't diluting anything. You're just, everything's available. Oh, is it Saint Agnew? How do I say it?
It's Sir Agnew.
I'm sorry, Sir Agnew. Yeah.
Okay.
Bless his heart.
He's cute.
All right. So then tracking your snacks. This is great just to know maybe when you're snacking more. Like, and it's not, I don't ever want you to be like, oh, I'm bad because I'm snacking. It's just an indication that maybe something's a little off. Maybe you didn't eat enough breakfast. You didn't eat enough lunch. You had more steps in your day. There's all kinds of, or you didn't sleep enough. That can make you have more cravings. So there's all kinds of little variations, and it's good to just kind of take a mental note to say, you know, how are things really going? And am I following what I wanted to do? Mm-hmm. Write out your wins. This one and the next one, jot down your food feelings. All of these are both amazing. Like Kathy, note the fact of how you're feeling right now, right? Like that this plan feels good, that you feel satisfied. Those are huge wins. And they're super important to kind of keep reinforcing the good feelings with healthy foods, with foods that have nutritional value. And same with jotting down your food feelings. Like I really noted this, when I did my first 21-day fix round, I remember thinking, okay, I'm going to follow this food plan to a T. I'm going to do it all. But when I'm done with this 3 weeks, I'm going to go have an almond croissant, right? Because that was like, I felt like I was missing out. That was my important thing. And I went and had it. And I was like, it's fine, but it's not like amazing, right? And so you kind of jot that down to be like, maybe it's not as important, this feeling I had toward this food or this treat, or, you know, maybe it's not as big of a deal and it's not something I'm missing. And I'm not saying it works. You know, you might go back to the almond croissant again in a couple months just to see, is it still good? And that's totally fine. But when you're making these kind of changing your thoughts around it, that's where you really have some change in your mindset, and you allow the thought of something else to come in, a change to come in, a new way to think about things. So I think that's it, just 8. Does anybody have any questions or want to talk about any of the things you saw on that list? And then we can kind of get into more detail about, you know, our plans.
I love that. That's one thing I was worried about is on the weekends during this ultimate reset. I was worried about the weekends because we'll eat out a lot or we'll grab like a bagel and cream cheese or whatever. And I thought that I knew that the weekends were gonna be tough and I was really worried I was gonna feel like I was missing out, but I haven't been. And that has been actually a very pleasant surprise through all of this. And I've been actually very grateful because it's made it easier not to like feel like I'm missing out of like whatever, Brett's having for dinner or breakfast or
Yeah.
whatever.
That was a big surprise for me too. I thought for sure I was going to feel like I was missing stuff.
Right.
And I had the same feeling. And I don't know if that's because I knew it was a finite amount of time and I had the mindset that I'm going to, this is my plan for the next 3 weeks, or if it also was just the fact that the cravings were greatly diminished and you felt satisfied off what you were having. You just have to kind of watch for those things to see, what's working. Cause even now, so I'm back in my hometown this week and there's a pizza place and I had it yesterday, I think for lunch, and it was good. And I think I'm going to have it again tomorrow night, but I'm not I don't feel that I ate just enough. I didn't overeat on it. And that's unique for me because, it's my childhood, favorite place. But I feel more empowered to say no to things that I know aren't going to be amazing. Right. If this donut isn't going to be life-changing, then I'll just stick with my normal, oatmeal today. Cause I know I'm going to feel good off that. You know what I mean? It's things like that. And that, we're I'm 11 years down the road from losing the weight. This is not something that happened instantly. And it's not something that, it's taken a lot of time to shift my mindset around, how I feel about different things. So, yeah.
I also when I was doing job one, Jennifer mentioned, or maybe I saw it on her Instagram, but she said, take 3 bites. And if it's worth it, eat the rest. If not, that's your indulging moment.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too, where sometimes, especially if you're in a group setting, you might feel like you have to finish it. You know what I mean? Depending on who made it or what's around, but kind of getting over that. And also just going into it with, I'm just going to try this and enjoy these, first 2 bites, see if it's something that's really amazing. And maybe have that idea of I can just be satisfied with a couple bites and then put it down. Yeah.
That
That
same
3
note,
bites, I'm gonna have to try that.
on
Yeah.
that same note, for Christmas, my husband was in a candy store, like an old fashioned candy store, and he got us little things that for remembrance. So he got me a little pack of, remember the wax bottles with the flavored water?
Mhm.
Remember that? And I said, oh, that's really cool. So I had one and we look, he goes, how is it? And I'm like, it used to be much better when I was a kid. It's
Right.
it doesn't hold anything anymore, and it's I and then even chewing the wax was this was fun, It's so it was really an eye opener.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how you really can shift your tastes.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I told him I wanted chocolate and he went to a fine chocolate store and he got a pound of all little individual different kinds. He picked them all out. And I asked you, how do I count them? And you told me to count it as 1 teaspoon.
Right. Yeah. Cause they were a small piece. Yep.
Yeah. Because it's just a little thing. I have one every night when we're watching. After dinner, he'll say, you want your candy now? And I'm like, no, it's too early. I just ate. I want to enjoy it. So I'll wait till we're watching TV and it's around 9 o'clock. I go, all right, now I'll have one. And the 1 is enough. I get to taste it. They're amazing. Every single one of them is good. And I can fit it in without thinking I'm cheating.
Yeah. Yeah. And same with wine. If people want to have wine and be on portion fix, you can take some of those yellows through the week and have a glass of wine. And that's the key to the longevity, right? Just fitting in some of the things that help you feel, and that thing that you're having, it may change too. It may be different. We'll see you, Mariana.
Bye. Have a great night. Next week, ladies.
Don't be snowed in.
Yeah, I won't. Stay tuned. Bye, guys.
See you later. But it's it's one of those things where it might change too, like what you want to treat yourself with or have, but
Yeah,
it's all part of the process. And that little piece isn't going to make or break. You have so many more calories during the day that you're determining how
Yeah.
things go.
with the tracking, the one thing that is tough this week, I have everything made and I put it in little containers, and on the top I write all the containers. What it
Uh-huh.
is, 1, 2, 3. If I have those zucchini egg ham cups for breakfast,
Yes.
there's a blue in there. All
There's
right,
cheese. Yep.
it's the
I think,
cheese.
I don't remember if it's a full blue or a half a blue, but yeah, there's cheese in them.
Yeah, I forget if it's full or half. But if later on in the day I was gonna have that tropical chicken salad, it had
With the
avocado in it. So I
avocado.
couldn't have it because it was a blue. You only get that one damn blue a day.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
That blue
And
is so hard.
you could do that salad without the blue. It is just as, it's still going to be good.
Yeah, right. Right.
But yeah, you do have one blue and one orange. You
Yeah.
technically could occasionally use your orange as a blue,
That's what I was gonna say.
but
Because the orange doesn't always get in the way, but the blue is tough because there's cheese, avocado, and nuts.
yep,
You gotta choose.
You
That's
do.
hard.
Choose. It's hard, right?
it can be a tough decision for sure.
I stuffed my blue with as much guac as I could tonight.
Did you?
I love my avocados.
Yeah, I do. I love avocado too.
Yeah.
So with tracking, like for Portion Fix and To Be Mindset, if you're following the program, it really is best to work on the whole thing at once. But with tracking in mind, you also want to give yourself grace, right? So you want to go into it with a mindset of, I'm not telling on myself, right? I'm not going to feel guilty. And if I don't write something down, it still happened, right? So there's no sense in not writing it down because it's just a set of data, just like the scale, just like the measurements. It's a set of data. That way you can look back, especially on To Be Mindset, you can look back at your meals and say, okay, I had weight loss this day and I felt really good and satisfied. And these are the things I ate. So let's repeat it again and see how it goes. With Portion Fix, it's really about, am I hitting those macros? So, if I'm not writing down that bite of something I took, or, if I'm having a snack here or there, or I'm mounding, the product into the containers, or the teaspoon is a teaspoon out of the drawer instead of a measuring teaspoon, then, you need to account for that. And it's tracking it without the guilt of tracking it, because it's like you're tracking it for your friend who wants to know. So it's like you kind of take yourself out of it and just say, I'm going to write it down. That was part of it. Some people feel like if they know they have to write it down, then they won't have the extra because they don't want to have to write it down.
Yeah.
Right. So it can be accountable like that. But if that makes you feel bad, and so then you just don't write it down and still have it, it doesn't help you at all.
Yeah. Right.
Right. You're just lying to yourself about it. And through this whole process, it really, with your food, with your fitness, it really is about you being your best ally and the person you can trust the most. So when you say, I'm going to do this workout program and I'm going to do them all, you believe yourself. Or I'm going to follow this food program and I'm going to do it. You believe yourself. And that doesn't mean there's not hiccups, but you still get back on track because you still believe you can. And that's the battle, believing that you can do it and continue it and live in that type of lifestyle. So get your tracking in. No, I'm just kidding. So does anybody have questions about tracking? Like, we have the app now, there's lots of pen and paper things, different ways of tracking, or if you want to share a tracking that works well for you. All right. And look,
Yeah,
I don't,
I would say for me, tracking is probably the hardest. And that's
I
probably
agree.
why I'm like, hey, let's talk about this because it's reminding me that, eyeballing how much rice I had for dinner may not be the best way to prepare my plate. So I did actually measure it out tonight. So yeah, so tracking is very difficult for me and I need to do better at it.
yeah, I agree. And I found I have to go into it in short waves,
Mhm.
and then I feel better about it. And then I also do better after. Even if I go into a period of not necessarily measuring, my effort toward the eyeballing is still there, not just layering it on. Because I know I love that brown rice and furikake, or I think it's called nori garasimo or something like that in the ultimate reset. It's basically it's seaweed and sesame seeds and salt. But like I put that on the brown rice with a little sesame oil, and I'm sure I'm adding more brown rice than I added in the ultimate reset for my snack time. You know what I mean? But it's like my favorite thing, and I love it. But I'm like, I need to start getting back to some measuring, and then just making sure the macros are on, especially now that I'm working out again. Got to make sure I'm getting my protein in and things are balanced out again versus just eating more toward vegan and having less protein. But I'm with you. Tracking can sometimes feel like the police. You're being policed.
Right.
For
Yeah.
me, tracking works best as a deterrent. Like,
Mm.
do I really want to write 6 cookies down on my tracking sheet,
Right.
or can I stop at 2? Like it works best like that for me. But it also doesn't work for me if I go too far. Like if I'm too rigid with it, then it feels like I'm like policing myself too. I'm denying myself something, and I don't do well in that mindset. So like I have to make sure I'm in the right headspace. But I mean, I definitely do better clearly when I'm tracking, and also same thing with getting on the scale every day. Like I do better if I just go every day. It's when I start being like, I don't really need to weigh in today. I ate all that pizza yesterday and I'll just have some water gain, and then it'll like ruin my whole day. And then, oh, I don't really need to weigh in tomorrow. I'll just weigh in once a week. Like that, that's a disaster for me. Like that mindset
Yeah.
is a good one. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like Kim and I are a little different like that. Like I weigh myself maybe once a quarter, or if we have a program or something like that.
Really?
Otherwise, I don't ever get on the scale. Because I don't like, I shouldn't say I don't like seeing the number. I used it too long to be like, you're doing good or bad. And so I just don't, I would rather focus on tracking my food versus tracking my weight. If that makes sense. Like I'd rather focus on making
You don't like the mystery of what will the number be today?
I don't want the mystery. And what's funny though,
You don't
is
need the feedback.
I can
What
guess
you're
it.
doing
I can guess it really close when I get on.
You don't like that adrenaline rush of like,
adrenaline. rush.
did I sneak in the extra cupcake? Did it really
Right.
get to show up?
Yeah, I
Like,
need the
like, no, I'm
feedback
just,
to tell me what I'm doing. Like you seem to know when you track, what's the outcome is going to be. I still don't. I need the scale to tell me. how
Yeah.
bad
And
it
that's
is.
totally fine. That's my point. Like it's not good or bad. Like, but you have to figure out what works best for you. Cause I think sometimes we look at a nutrition plan or we talk about it and then people think, oh, I have to do it this way. Or that, you know what I mean? Like, and a 2B mindset, as long as you are not berating yourself because of the scale number, that's the way the program's set up to use it as a data point. And that's totally fine. Portion Fix is set up to really only check it once a month when you're checking your calculations. But I think you absolutely have to go with what works for you as following or knowing and what mentally is the best for you.
Because I've gone through times where I just try to weigh in once a week and the week just seems like an infinity. I can't wait.
You
the
just
week.
want to know. Yeah, you
I
just
want
want
to
to know.
know,
Yeah.
and it's just like, then I lose it, like in the middle of the week. It's like, because I don't know how good or bad I'm doing.
Right.
So then I just abandon it.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know.
And see, I know if I'm doing good or bad by what I've put in.
See that?
It doesn't
Right.
matter to me what the number is.
I guess
I
you go
just-
by the way you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use the scale too. I don't track. I use the scale. So every day, in the morning when I step on, that tells me definitely how I did the day before. I already know. And the one thing that I will say is that for me, my body is telling me what I need to eat. So I just kind of listen to it and just eat it. And so I think that's the reason why tracking to eat certain things, I've kind of let that go. So
Mhm.
as long as if I use the scale, that's my gauge that within, 2 or 3 pounds. And if I get over a certain amount, then I know that I need to reel it in. But I mean, being in my mid 40s, it is what it is. This is as good as it's going to get right now. So just have to, just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband, he gets on the scale at night. I go, how can you get on the scale at night? It's always up.
He
higher.
doesn't,
I'm
doesn't
like,
he know he's lighter in the morning? What's
"Don't
going
I see a
on?
lighter number? It's like, I don't get it.
But he's consistent in his time,
Yes.
and that's the actual important part.
Right, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
As
I'll
long as
get
you're
on
doing
both
it at the
morning
same
and night.
time. And yeah, and like women who still having cycles, you really want to
Right.
compare week 1 to the next week 1, week 2 to the next week 2,
Right.
not week 1 and 2.
I'll get
Mm.
on at night and try to guess what I'm going to be in the morning. Because I usually know how much I lose overnight. And then if I get up at night to go to the bathroom, I'll get on the scale before I get back to bed.
Oh my
That is funny.
I'm bad.
You need
That
to
may
put
be a
that
little bit
scale
over
away.
on the scale.
I'm so
That might be a little
bad.
too much tracking. A little too much.
Yeah, hide that scale and just bring it
Put
out
it
on
under the
Sunday.
sink.
For a
Yeah.
while I did. I put it under the bed,
I
and-
remember you hid it for a little
yeah,
while.
And I
Yeah.
got away from it, but I didn't like it. I needed to have it. I
Yeah.
just need to.
Weigh yourself before you go to church on Sunday, and that's it, nothing else.
Pray to God.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, are there any other tracking type things we want to talk about? We can see if anybody has labels or other questions. I know Lily said she had a bunch of labels. Did she message to say she's? Let's see if I have one from her.
Or are you looking for labels? I have a label.
No, I'm just looking to see if Lily messaged because she said she was going to be on with, she had a bunch of snack labels, I think.
I don't have a label, but I have a recipe that I want
Ooh,
to, I think
okay.
I think I know what it's containerized as, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
Okay.
So this makes 14 cookies. It is 2 cups of oats, seasonings and stuff, a half a cup of creamy peanut butter, an egg, a half a cup of honey, or I use maple syrup, and a half a cup of either dark or semi-sweet chocolate chips.
Yeah. So you're for sure a yellow.
Yep.
And then, I don't know, do you want to count the peanut butter and the chocolate chips as teaspoons? So like you're like a yellow and like 2 or 3 teaspoons? Or do you want to put it in like the peanut butter into like a, what would that be?
A purple. For
No.
sure.
Did you put it into
No,
a
I was
blue?
thinking teaspoons.
Yeah,
I was
because
thinking
usually,
teaspoons, but I don't even know that it's that many teaspoons though. Because
well,
if
a half a
it's
cup is
14
gonna be,
cookies,
okay, so a half, let's see, let's count this out. Like there's 3 tablespoons, I think, in a quarter cup. So that'd be 6 tablespoons. There's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So that'd be 18 teaspoons and you have 14 cookies. So that's at least 1 teaspoon. And then your chocolate chips is a half a cup. So you're the same.
Yeah.
So you're
Okay.
probably, you're almost like a teaspoon and a half. So you're like 3 teaspoons and a yellow.
And technically when I made these, it ended up being like 16 cookies. I'm like, how the
Yeah.
heck did they get 14 cookies out of this? I'm like,
Yeah.
these are gigantic cookies in comparison. But
Because
so
you
yeah,
use the
so
batter when you make it.
There's only
Yeah.
one egg.
Yeah.
No.
Make sure you quality control and then
Yeah.
you'll have 14.
it is,
Yeah.
it's really good. It's really good.
It
was the
sounds
recipe
good.
that I found. But yeah, I was like, I wonder how to containerize this. I
Well, how
wasn't
much
really
honey was
truly,
it too?
it's a half a cup. It's the same.
Oh, then you have another teaspoon right there.
No, it was, I swapped maple syrup instead of
Still.
honey.
Still, maple syrup's gonna be the same. It's gonna be another teaspoon.
How many teaspoons do you get in a day? I only get like 2, maybe 3. It's like then you
I-
don't have anything left for the rest of the
I
day.
think you have 4 on A. And if that's not, let me look it up really
No.
quick, because if
On A,
it's
3.
not 4,
3.
oh, it's
3,
3
yeah.
on A.
It
Okay.
wa-
Yeah.
It was 2 when I got this book, but now they have it.
Yeah, and
as
I think they
3.
did add another, they did revise it.
Yeah, I think, because I got Orm's book out of the library. They made it. from
But sometimes, you
3.
know, with the cookies, they also containerize the sweetener into the yellow part of it. So that's where I'm not
That's
sure
true.
how much you would add into the yellow versus
true.
keeping in a teaspoon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So you could probably just go a yellow and 2 teaspoons and you're going to be pretty darn close.
Yeah.
And then the yellow too. I only get
curious
2
because,
yellows
I
a
mean,
day.
Yeah, you only get 2 yellows. So you could have
You
2
know,
cookies.
that's tough.
Well, I was just kind of curious because I've had people ask me for the recipe and I've had clients ask me for the recipe and it's like, okay, I don't know how to tell them to containerize it. I take that back. I guessed on how to containerize it and that's pretty much what I guessed
Right.
at. So, but yeah, I'm at the point that if I want to have a cookie,
Have a cookie.
I will have a cookie and I might not have, it won't be a yellow, like I won't eat a yellow that day. I'm not gonna stress over it. But yeah, it gets to the point where I don't know, I went through, you go through phases where you're in a weight loss phase and then you go through phases where you're just like eating to sustain and to maintain and live.
Yep.
And that's where I've been.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I just I eat the cookie. If I'm gonna have a cookie, I'm not gonna stress over the cookie.
I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I think you're doing a very good job of all of it anyway. So
Well, thank you. Thank you. Honestly, I feel like a unicorn when it comes to the whole tracking thing because I do track. I track everything, but like, so Kathy, I've been in A for like ever because unless I'm trying to gain muscle, that's where I am. Like
That's your
weight loss
maintenance
and
too.
maintenance. It's like
Yeah.
I'm in A. And so I've been there for so long, I can go in my head and go, what did I eat today? And I know exactly what containers I've eaten, what I have left, what I can fill those with. And I do. And I get excited that I get so much dang food. I'm like, yes, I do. And then I will have days where I won't stress as much. Like I'll eat, like tomorrow I'm going to go over to a friend's house and we're going to have pizza. And I'm not going to stress if I have more than 2 pieces of pizza. If I'm hungry for the 3rd piece, I'll eat it. And then the next day I'll go back to eating the way that I would normally eat.
Yep.
Will
tracking
you
my
track
container-
tomorrow? Will you track that pizza tomorrow?
I don't worry about tracking that.
Oh, okay.
Well, and
I track
technically
everything else.
it's pretty hard to track too. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you have to just realize some foods you don't track and
Right.
that's just the way that day is.
Right.
But it
And-
shouldn't be a
but-
lot of days.
But so the rest of the day, so I won't have my yellows. I won't have my yellows. And I won't have teaspoons. And I won't have, no, I probably still will have my avocado. I probably still will have my avocado. Let's be real.
You
Yeah,
can
I
give
will.
up the orange. You can give up the orange because that's fats too.
Yeah, but see,
Kathy,
I'm
don't
in-
pull that out every day, okay? That was a.
yeah, no, and I'm in the boat where I don't have a gallbladder, so fats they don't really stick very well in my body. They kind of
That's not a promotion to get your gallbladder removed. Dana.
no, if I could do it all over again, I would do anything and everything that I could possibly do to keep my gallbladder. I am actually angry to this day. I've had to really work through it, because if I had to do it all over again, I would have done everything I could to keep it. But the picture was painted in a whole different light for me.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, but yeah, so fats are a little bit of I don't overdo fats, but it's one of those things where it's not I don't eat a whole lot of processed fats either. So it's avocado. I don't eat a lot of cheese. Coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, and organic sunflower butter, usually. And that's about it.
Mm.
All right,
Yeah.
Sue, did you say you had a label?
Oh, yes, I was hoping Lily would be here, so I found.
I
Lily.
know. Is it a tortilla? Oh, it's crust. Okay.
Oh, I think she's had those, hasn't
She
she?
has.
Trader Joe's. Did you
Yeah.
get, do you think she's had these?
I do.
I think she has.
I
Yeah.
think so. So it's 2 servings per container. So there's 1 crust in here. And it's made of shredded cauliflower, whole egg, grated Parmesan cheese, skim milk, salt, yeast, garlic, basil, oregano.
I'm gonna search it really quick, but I'm pretty sure the nutritionist has answered this in the Portion Fix group, especially the cauliflower thins that came out of Trader Joe's, and I think they're a green and like a blue.
Oh,
And there
even
might be
better.
a teaspoon
'Cause this
involved.
is a Small one,
what
you
it
know, it's
sounds
like
like.
a, what is it, like a 6, maybe a 7-inch wide? I don't know.
Let me see.
Yeah. And it says 120 calories. 4 carbs, 1 fiber, 1 sugar, and 10 grams of protein.
Nice.
So
So what's
that's-
all the protein from though? That seems more
No,
than just the
I just
cheese.
realized that. I was thinking the
That'd be
exact.
kind of hard. Is it nutritional yeast or is it just yeast?
Deactivated yeast.
Hmm.
So shredded cauliflower, liquid whole eggs. So maybe the eggs.
Oh, eggs.
Oh, the
Yeah.
eggs. Yeah,
And then
the
the-
eggs.
yeah.
I forgot
The
they were
grated
on it.
Parmesan cheese.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the Trader Joe's one.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so they counted the Trader Joe's cauliflower pizza crust. 1/6 of the crust would be yellow.
1/6.
But
Yeah.
you know what? They
How
have,
big is the crust again?
they have cauliflower pizza crusts in their freezer section as well. So this is not frozen. This is like a flimpy.
Okay, and this is the one from the freezer.
Okay.
And it's because of the starchy flours they put in it to help it hold together. Now, does that have some starchy flours going for it?
No, there's no flour in this. No?
No.
Okay,
So
there
that's
are, oh,
actually
okay, so then she
50-50.
says there are ones that are basically cauliflower, eggs, and cheese that wouldn't have a yellow and would be part red, part green, part blue.
Oh, wait, there are 2 of them in here. I didn't realize that because it felt kind of thick. So there's 2 of them in here. So you're saying a red,
A part red, a part green, and a part blue. So how that part breaks down is determined by how much you have. What's the serving calories at? Like a serving size is 1 or is it a half?
so it says 1 crust.
Okay.
So there's 2 in this package. 1 crust is 120 calories.
So I bet you're at a half red, a half blue, and a half yellow, or sorry, half red, half green, half blue. Because
Yeah,
10
so
grams of
that's-
protein is a half red.
Yeah. That's actually better than I thought, because I was
Yeah.
thinking, oh, this thing's kind of thick. I was thinking there was only 1 in here.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the starchy flours holding it together, which is good.
What are the
Right.
ingredients again, Sue?
It's cauliflower, eggs, grated Parmesan cheese, skim milk, cheese cultures, deactivated yeast, minced garlic, and then other seasonings, basil.
Yeah, so
that
the
type
eggs
of-
are the binder instead of adding in the flours to
Mhm.
help it stay together.
Maybe the cheese is binding too.
It will too with the egg.
Little bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
But see, normally they'll do cheese and then these starchy, like a cassava or a, different types of like a potato starch. A lot of cauliflower crusts I've seen have potato starch in them.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And
so
what's
I'm
the brand
interested.
name, Sue?
Okay. Well, I think you have a good find there.
I
Sue,
do
what's the
too.
brand name on it? Sue?
That's Trader Joe's.
Oh, that's Trader Joe's. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so that's it. And I don't know what the size of the
Bye,
crust are.
Bev. See you later.
Hey, ladies. Have a good
Bye,
night.
Beth.
Thanks.
Now,
I don't have a roller. They're probably 6 inches. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good option.
Yeah.
have you made it yet?
No, I just got it yesterday.
All right, let us know
Well,
next
and
week.
I wonder, depending on the flavor, if you could use it like a wrap too. Or
Yeah,
like
it might be a little thick for that.
be like a
Yeah.
gordito.
I don't know. I think I'd rather have a pizza.
Well, there you go. You can have the
I
pizza.
think I'm gonna do this tomorrow after my 7 o'clock live workout with JJ.
And you know what you could do too? You could put a little ricotta on it instead of just all regular cheese because you're using a half a blue with the crust.
Oh, true.
And then the ricotta will count as the red,
Oh, there you
Maybe.
go.
the
Mm.
little sauce.
Very smart.
Yeah. So I think it's a good find.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too. I don't think Lily's had that one.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
you may have eaten it. I don't think we've talked about it on here.
oh, really? I'll take
Yeah.
a picture of it and put
Yeah,
it in,
send it to her.
in the
It'll
thing.
be all over that.
I know.
All right. Does anybody else have any labels? Any to be or portion fix things you want to talk about or anything you want to talk about?
I have a question
Yeah.
because I've been kind of missing in action for like 6
You're
weeks.
you're a little busy opening your yoga studio and getting all nutrition certified and
And getting sick for 3 weeks with
oh
COVID.
no, I didn't know that.
Oh,
Poor thing.
Yeah, yeah. So I finally, I'm right at, what was that? Last Wednesday? I think it was not this Wednesday, not yesterday, but the week prior. Yeah, I tested positive twice. I went 16 days until I got my negative.
Oh
test.
man.
Yep. And then my boyfriend Dave, I talked to him. Unfortunately, we don't live in the same household, so I haven't seen him like in 10 days, but I told him I can't get sick again. So he tested again today and he's still positive. I was like, sorry.
Yeah.
wow.
I'll see you
Please.
later.
Yes. I mean, we'll continue to, nowadays you can do FaceTime or whatever, but
Right.
anyway, but yeah, I was out of it for literally physically, mentally, emotionally out of it for almost 3 weeks.
Wow.
So my energy's still kind of low, but it's getting better. And that dry cough and it just, yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, but my question is, because I'm trying to catch up. So there's this 60-day challenge, body 60-day challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to take a class every day, or you just
That's my
take-
understanding. You can use the video classes, but you have to do some class, either previous or current, like live, right? Each day of the 60 days. So they'll be able to see it logged in your account that you
Okay.
took some kind of body class.
Oh,
So I was
you can
thinking
pull
even
up
I
on
could do a
day.
meditation on my rest day.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
You could do meditation or a recovery or a stretching workout. And so they do have 3 tracks that if
I
you
saw
want to
that.
follow something, like one is for leaning out, one I think they call lean out, tighten up, strength. So if you wanted to follow like you're following a program, that's laid out for you and they tell you what to do each day, like if it's strength or if it's cardio. Yeah, I'm kind of excited about it because I'm like, oh, I'm going to get to use my bike a lot. So
Yeah. Wow. that makes you not skip a day. I'm
Right?
actually used to that, but with being sick and everything, you get kind of out of that routine. So I'm like, oh my God. And I know there's been a few workouts, not recently, but I think it's when I was trying to, probably within my second week, that I was trying to work out, that big mistake, because I just couldn't like really
Mm,
get my energy up, because obviously I was still sick.
yeah,
So-
yeah.
so
Yeah, and I've heard the
anyway,
energy thing is really a big part of it, part of those
it's-
lasting effects.
well, and losing your breath, that happened a couple of times, like literally not when I was working out, but I had some coughing fits that I was like choking and couldn't like get that breath that I
Yeah.
needed.
Yes,
Um,
Lily,
Here she comes.
but anyway, yeah,
you made it, Lily.
it was tough for sure. But wow, okay, so you really, because I was thinking, well, maybe you could double up, but actually you have to
You need to
literally
do it
every
each day. Yeah, the
Wow.
whole idea is that it's a consistent, each day doing something different. I mean, and there's a ton of 15-minute,
Yeah, see, that's
core meditation. I don't know if there's no 15-minute yoga, because I was looking in for that the other day. They're all 30. But there's a lot of core at 15. There's some bike at 15. I don't think there's any strength at 15.
Did they finally add more meditation? Because I kept, when I was looking at that, it was like the same one over and over again.
Oh, I
was like,
think
really?
there's probably 30 in there, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, there's quite a
it's been
few.
while.
Yeah, because I was
Okay.
looking through those the other day too. And I think there was like 30.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that is definitely, that is a challenge.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and to not miss a day, because I was some of us are going to Punta Cana, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do meditations on the flight days, right? Because we'll be flying all day a couple of the days, because that'll still be during that 60-day time.
When is the trip?
Lily and I think we're getting in on the 17th. Kim, when are you
what?
getting down there? On Saturday, the 19th?
Of March.
Of
Yeah, of March. Sorry.
19th, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are all going early, right?
Jess
We
is
can
even
do the
earlier than
nutrition
us.
call. We can do the nutrition call from Punta Cana.
We could. That'll be okay. That'll be an East Coast time zone, I think, right? 8 o'clock. Yeah. We'll be in by then, because we'll get in the middle of the day on Thursday. Yeah, Jess is getting there Wednesday. It was cheaper to start flying on Wednesday and pay for the hotel than it was to try to fly in on Friday and Saturday for us.
How long are you gonna be there?
I'll be there a week.
Okay.
The trip with Beachbody is 5 days.
Okay,
Yep.
wow,
So yeah, that'll be fun.
cool.
It's 48 days away, by the way.
I don't think I'll be
Can't
able to do the nutrition call on the back end though, because I think I'll still be flying during that call.
So Lily, I have a label just for you. I don't know if you can see it while you're driving, but I found these cauliflower pizza crusts at Trader Joe's. Have you tried them?
I don't think I've tried those ones.
They're not
Yeah.
frozen. Yeah, they're not the frozen.
They're not frozen. I took pictures of them. I was gonna post them so you can see them.
Oh, perfect. Yes, I haven't been to Trader Joe's in a while, so I definitely need to go.
Yeah, I just got them yesterday. I was pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I might grab some of those when I get back. I want to try them, see how they are. I usually
think
avoid
they'll
egg,
more.
but if it's in stuff, then it doesn't usually affect me for a little bit. But
Yeah, we'll try them tomorrow because I want to see how they are.
okay, we'll give your full report then on how they are.
I will.
Yeah,
All right. Well, any other questions? Funky Friday will be back next Friday. Trying to think of what else is coming. We have one last
Meal prep.
Monday.
Meal prep.
What'd you say, Lily?
Meal prep.
Meal prep, that's February 6th. We have a slow cooker banana bread oatmeal, a skinny buffalo chicken dip, if you want to prep it for the Super Bowl or just try it out and then bring it to the Super Bowl. And then a Portuguese kale soup, which which I've actually made twice in the last month because I really like
How
it.
is that? Is it good?
I like it a lot. To
Okay.
me, the kielbasa in it, just having like the sausage in it makes it feel kind of comfy, and it
Mm.
makes the broth really flavorful. And then you have an entire bunch of kale in it and 2 leeks, which is also really substantial in your greens. But they, they meld down and everything, has that flavor of the sausage. So they're, you don't feel like you're chewing on kale.
Hmm.
And then there's 1 can of beans in it. And those are also, depending on how you feel about beans there, it doesn't feel like it's overwhelmed with beans or anything. And I think that one is like a half a red, a half a green. What else would
What
be?
was the first thing?
Or maybe it was a half a red and a full green. It has a turkey sausage or a turkey kielbasa. So like a ring bologna.
No, I meant the first
Oh.
recipe.
Oh, slow cooker banana bread oatmeal.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That one's good. I've made that before. It's good. And that has steel cut oats, bananas. So that's February 6th. We'll have a minute Monday on Monday where I don't remember what we're going to do, but probably like a squat or wall sit or plank or something to that effect for a minute.
Fun.
All right, you guys. Well, if
Yeah.
anyone has any topics they want to talk about next week, I'm open to anything. Feel free to drop in my DMs and let me know what you want to talk about.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for the call tonight.
Yeah, it was good to see you guys.
Yeah, likewise.
Next week I'll be back in my
late.
outdoor
you.
space, not freezing my buns off.
Have a good week, everyone.
You too.
Lily, are you just coming home from work?
No, we're